Welcome back to another installment of the Purple Rain Podcast. Once again, thank you for coming through episode 169 of the Purple Rain Podcast. The Jeff Blackshear episode, the Willie Henry episode, the Brian Rimpf episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. Yeah, I had to throw it back there. I actually need to fix the intro because there are some players on there that we're going to be talking about today in this episode that may not be here next year, being Marcus Peters. But thank you to everybody coming through to the Purple Rain Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. Follow this guy over here, Instagram, Twitter, at Sutton Def. Actually, for some great reaction takes, because that one tweet you put out when Lamar signed the contract with the Migos song, I know which one you know I'm talking about. That was golden. Absolute golden. Love that. You can follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on Twitter at simplyas10. And most importantly, Manscaped. K-Dog says it. PRP is sponsored by Manscaped. Code PRP for 20% off and free shipping. It may not feel like it, but Father's Day is not that far away.
It's not.
All right? It's really not. So if you want to get the man in your life something nice, we got you. Go on Manscaped, order something, use code PRP, 20% off, free shipping. We got you.
Yes, we do. We do. And like my guy Alex said, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. Welcome back. Welcome back, y'all. We're here to talk about some, the most recent Ravens news and some other little think pieces that we want to get into. Alex and myself, we have some things that we want to bring to you guys' attention. So that is what we are going to do here on this episode. But again, thank you guys so much for coming through to this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. Black Daniels in the house. Is peace, Rain Gang. What's going on, brother? Just hit the like button. Costs you nothing. It's free. It's free 99 to hit that like button, man, and just support the channel, man. We appreciate it, man. We appreciate it so much. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's see who else is in here. JD Killswitch is in here as well. That's my guy. Says Sup Rain Gang. Rocking white this time. Yeah, we got the white background. We're switching it up for the season.
It is light out too. We'd be doing these episodes and it would just be like dark in both of our rooms. But now it's like you can't even see the ring light I have on. I don't even need that. I have natural lighting.
It's all natural. You know what I mean?
Right.
All natural. Love it. Love it. We have April Marble in here. It says, I really would like to see how Zay Flowers does one-on-one with Humphrey. Remember when we went to the open practice at the stadium the other year? I think it was Bateman's rookie year. And they had Bateman matched up one-on-one with Marlon Humphrey, and Bateman actually gives him a move and catches a ball over him. That was pretty nice. So maybe we'll see something like that in training camp when they're both in the facility together. But Zay Flowers looks good, man. And I guess this is a good segue. We can get right into what we came here to talk about, right, Alex? Yeah. So, like you guys see on the title of the video, Zay Flowers and OBJ, two brand new Ravens wide receivers, are in the lab already. And I want to mention this. I want to start with this. Those guys are in the lab now. Odell's in the lab, and it's a social media thing because Lamar is signed. We're ready to roll, man. And I love seeing this so early and so often. Of course, Zay Flowers has to go to a rookie mini camp, things like that. But to see Odell, working hard this early in the offseason and whatnot, he's had a whole year to rehab whatever he went through. So I fully expect him to be working on it by this point. But it's super inspiring. But I don't know if you guys all saw what was dropped on the timelines, on the Instagram feeds, wherever you get your news from, your sports media. Both of those guys have been working out, man. So what was your knee-jerk reaction to these workout videos from these guys?
So I'm going to start off with Zay Flowers first.
Sure.
The way how fast that man changed directions with 3 cuts, it honestly left me mesmerized. It left me dizzy. How fast his legs were moving, the cuts he was making, it's hard to keep up with that. That was just for Zay Flowers. And then for Odell, it's Odell doing Odell things. The catches, we know he has hands. We know he can make those one-handed catches, but it is very nice to see it because he's a Raven. Because we haven't even seen Bateman yet, all right? We're just talking about two of our receivers. We haven't seen any of the Bateman workout videos because we know he's working out. That's no debate. But
Yeah.
just seeing that too, we're in May, and I'll get touched on something else that the Ravens are doing that I really like. But the fact that we're seeing this so early is giving me a lot of promise because I think a month or a month and a half ago, we were talking about how dysfunctional this team was. Fast forward to May 8th, not gonna lie, everything is like peachy, Our quarterback signed. We actually
Yeah.
have receivers. I think we have a good draft class. I mean,
Life
we're
is good.
life is good. We're kicked up. We're chill. Hey, if they're at the country club, I'm right there with them next with the drink and lemonade and the umbrella in
Yeah.
there too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, 100% agree with everything you just said. And getting back to Zay Flowers, those cuts were insane. Those cuts were insane. Now, I know he's doing it against defenders who are basically just running right past him, but it still gives you perspective of how quick he is changing direction, man. How he's able to drop his hips that fast and plant his left or right foot in the ground to change directions. You don't really see that too often. That sort of like agility and dexterity out of somebody's leg. So I really did like what I saw from him. I think that and I saw a couple of people on Twitter talking about this too. They're saying like Zay Flowers, his game could maybe mimic like a Debo Samuel, a guy where you just get him out in space, get him the football, and like he's gonna make something happen with it. That's what I'm most excited for with a Zay Flowers. Like I want to be able to get him out in space, which I'm sure Todd Monkin will be able to do with his
Mm.
offensive mindset. Get him out in space, get him the football, and just let him work. You're not going to be able to hone in and focus in on Zay Flowers. He's a rookie wide receiver. We also have Odell Beckham Jr. We also have Rashad Bateman, who teams know. Not everybody in the mainstream media and on Twitter knows how dangerous Rashad Bateman is, but these NFL coaches around the league, they know when Rashad Bateman is healthy, he is a threat. He is a threat. So we have Rashad Bateman, Odell Beckham Jr. You're not going to be able to focus on Zay Flowers. Mark Andrews, you're not going to be able to focus on Zay Flowers. So him, like he's going to be one-on-one a lot of the time. And if he's making cuts like that consistently, he's going to be breaking defenders off. I'm telling you that. And he's going to be getting wide open catches and just getting upfield. That yak is going to be crazy. Now, getting to Odell, Odell really amazed me too. I mean, and what year is this for Odell in the league? It's got to be like what, 8?
I think
Yeah,
it might
something
be
like
8 or
that.
9. I think 2013 is when he came in. No, so it'd
Yeah.
be more than that.
So yeah, I
I'll
mean
look it
that
up
would be
right now.
10. Yeah. But I mean, regardless, I mean he's been in the league for a while now, like the greater part of a decade. So for him to still be like just effortlessly with the one-handed grabs, that is very promising as well. Let me tell you why. Who is stopping this team in the red zone when you have that type of repertoire at your disposal? If you're a Lamar Jackson, if you're a Todd Monkin, you know, Odell Beckham Jr. excites me because you can line him up out wide in the red zone and just say, hey, look, give your guy a move, get to the back corner of the end zone, Lamar's going to find you. And his hands are so sticky, he's going to come down with the football if he's one-on-one. You know what I mean? So we also have Mark Andrews. I'm just going back and forth with our offensive weapons. But, guys, the red zone is where we struggled the most last season. The red zone is where we struggled the most last season. We didn't have, let me remind you guys, we did not have the biggest problem getting down the field. It was just getting in the damn end zone. Now we have players in Odell Beckham Jr. who can go fade routes, one-handed grabs. We have Zay Flowers who can, like I said, break off defenders and get open in the end zone. We have Mark Andrews still and Rashad Bateman. So the videos, I say all that to say, the videos that were dropped today on the timeline by Odell Beckham Jr. and Zay Flowers working out, very promising stuff. It really seems like this wide receiving core is where it needs to be. And I'm just so grateful, Alex, that the Ravens made good on their promise from the initial start of the this offseason. John Harbaugh said, yeah, the wide receiving room is going to be revamped, and it is revamped. I love it.
Yeah, and you were right. This will be his 10th season. He was actually drafted on this day 9 years ago. Just found that out in the 2014 NFL
Wow.
draft. So kind of crazy we're
Wow.
talking about it now, and he's a Raven.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I can't agree with what you said even more. Like can't disagree with that. They are making good on their promise. And one thing I know you heard it. I'm not gonna sit here and act like we didn't hear it. But Zay Flowers says he loves this offense.
Yeah.
A wide receiver in Baltimore loves this offense. I'll say it one more time to get it through your ears.
Please,
A
come
wide
on, let's do it.
receiver loves the Baltimore Ravens offense.
Yeah.
I don't
Let that
know
sink in.
who would have thought 6 months ago we would be saying this, but we're here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can't be happier about the current state of the Ravens, as a fan. Like, I know 2 months ago on this very podcast, like you said before, we were feeling dejected. We were feeling like, Ravens football is just not it right now because we don't know the future is so uncertain. But now like we have exactly, or at least I feel like 90% of the tools that we need to make a legitimate Super Bowl run. I can't really see too many effective holes in our roster.
Mhm.
We look good on paper. We got to translate it onto the field. We'll see if that ends up happening. What we do want to get the opinions from the Rain Gang and the live chat.
Yes.
Yes, and if you're not watching live right now, that's okay. If you're part of the hashtag replay gang, thank you guys so much for coming out to this episode. We love you guys just as much. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new here. We'd appreciate that. But let me see. Adeep Mahmood says Ravens have a respectable passing core, and the Orioles have the third best record in baseball, 22-12. This is a bright moment for Baltimore sports. Talk about it, Adeep.
Yeah. Have you been catching the Orioles games recently?
I have not.
So they just actually, I think, lost their first series of the year to the Atlanta Braves, who are probably the best team on paper, in my opinion.
Yeah,
They lost 2 out of 3, but they got walked off one in the third game, and they were all close games. They're going toe to toe with the best, and they're playing the Rays now, who are like 28-7, I think. Like
yeah,
they're the best team by far in baseball. So baseball wise, I really wasn't expecting it to be this good. I was expecting it to be above average, but this is kind of blowing me out the water. And then with the Ravens having a respectable passing core, yeah, I can't agree with that even more. Like just having 3 guys that we know can make a difference, and then I just feel like Mark Andrews is going to feast even more.
yeah,
We always talked about it. How he won't be double or triple team, but like this feels different. It's like this actually feels like he is going to get single covered, and he's going to be feasting off of linebackers trying to cover him.
yeah.
So I mean, good luck. Pick your poison. And there was a video, I think that the running back we got from East Carolina, he put out on his
Keaton Mitchell.
Instagram, which yes, he shouldn't have put it out there, but I don't know if you saw that video. The spacing of the receivers, like there was a lot of space in that passing game, like something that we aren't used to seeing with the Greg Roman offense. Receivers aren't running into each other. They're not, all in the same spot, and the rest of the field's open. Like there was actual spacing I saw. I know it was one play. I don't want to get too hyped about it, but it's progress. And that's all we're really asking for in this passing offense.
Yeah, no, I agree there. We definitely need progress. That is for sure in that department. My guy Black Daniels, our guy Black Daniels says, I'm excited about our wide receiver tight end talent, but I am hype for JK and Gus. Yeah,
Talk
I
about it.
mean, we're not even talking about the running backs that we have. The running game, listen, the Ravens have had a top 3 to top 5 run game for the greater part of the last 5 years, right? So the fact that we're pairing that with also a dangerous passing attack is just, I don't, like you said, pick your poison. I don't really see how you stop it, you know? And I think that just because we got all this, let me tell you one thing that does concern me, Alex. We do have all this talent at wide receiver, tight end. We've got guys who are extremely confident. I don't know if you've heard Zay Flowers talk a whole lot, but he's extremely confident
Mhm.
already. Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham Jr. Those two could potentially be some pretty big personalities. I'm not going to share it. Rashad Bateman is another one. He's the one. He came out earlier this offseason, I think, and spoke out against EDC and something like that. So we've got 3 big time personalities on this receiving core and one football to go around. So my only concern is that those guys aren't seeing the opportunities that they thought that they might. And we're still run heavy because I think we're going to stick to our laurels and we're going to run the football. We're going to run the
Yeah.
damn football. So I just hope that we can find a way to make sure that everybody eats. You know what I mean, Alex?
Yeah. Yeah. And like I remember you mentioned about Todd Monkin. He's not going to sit there and kind of have that set script like we're going to go 50-50. If the game feels like a passing game, he's going to pass the ball. If it feels
Mm-hmm.
like a game where you're going to, ground and pound, and maybe it's a bad weather game, he'll run the ball. And with the offenses of, years ago and last year, we always expected to run the ball. I even think about that Browns game on Thursday Night Football. We were down 2 possessions and still running the ball effectively, but we just had no passing game. We could not throw the ball at all. And I know it was Tyler Huntley in there, but just it kind of showed you how poor the offense was. We put up 3 points. We could have scored 20 points the second half of the season, no matter what.
Yeah.
So I know there are big personalities, but they're gonna have their games where I'll make a bold prediction right now. Maybe if we get into a shootout, we could see a game where all three of them have over 100 yards. I feel
Whoa.
like if we get into a shootout, like I think Lamar actually throws for a game for 500 this year.
Ooh, a Jackson
Like
500?
I think because the way he was talking, and I know they took that that 6,000 yard comment out of just blew
Yeah.
it out of
Like,
proportion.
come on now, really?
But I think there will be a game where, like the Dolphins game last year, we just get into a shootout, and Lamar won't have to rely on his legs to break off a 75-yard rushing touchdown. It'll be through the air. So
Yeah.
I'm not expecting him to put up 6,000 yards, but he'll have one of those games where it's just like kind of people are like, wow, like this offense is for real.
Yeah. Let me see. Our guy Cam. Cam is in the house. What's going on? Cam says they're gonna have open lanes by default. Yeah, I mean, just all the weapons, man. You can't.
Stack
You
the
can't.
box.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're right, man. If we spread those guys out on the defense, like it's gonna open up a lot of lanes for JK and Gus. And I was watching that big touchdown run that JK had against Cincinnati a couple years back. If he can, man, I think that this could be a really big breakout year for J.K. Dobbins. If
Yeah.
utilized correctly, he's voiced his concerns about not being utilized enough. And he's for the first time in a long time, he'll be coming off of an offseason where he wasn't rehabbing an I word.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be 100% ready to go, and he should be really, really good for us this season. Lisa says, "Will Todd Monkin have the same formula he did in Georgia?"
I think he'll make his adjustments. I think, college NFL was completely different, but he's been here before. He's had successful offenses here before. As for the formula, he'll probably take bits and pieces. He'll run the same packages. He'll run the same personnel. I mean, he'll run his two tight ends. I doubt there will be three, to be honest. I doubt he'll have many three tight end sets unless we're like, goal line or a heavy package. But I do expect him to bring that pass first kind of mentality he has, because he
Yeah.
was running the ball well with Stetson Bennett at Georgia. But you think about some of the receivers they had, Pickens, one of them. Thinking about that, like this is the same guy who threw up 60 points in a national championship game. I'm pretty sure like 50 or 60. We have a guy who isn't scared to like not keep his foot off their throat. Ruthless. He's a little sick in the head too, which I really like. So I hope he brings that formula over.
How about this? This is kind of like an off the cuff question here, but uh, over under 1.5 times this upcoming season that we see Mark Andrews under center.
You're sick. I like it. I'll go under maybe once, but I don't. I think if anything, maybe I would like to see a little bit of Wildcat. I wouldn't hate that, but
I mean, you can really get as creative as you want with
okay.
the type of offense we have. Yeah.
Over under 3 Odell Beckham Jr. pass attempts.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Uh, I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go under.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm feeling like maybe one or two, because the thing is, it's not going to work every time. Let's say they do it twice, like it works the first time, it doesn't work the second time. After the second time it doesn't work, we're probably never doing it again. At least for the rest of the season. So I would say under, and I think the chat
I
agrees
just
there too.
remember him in Cleveland. They were throwing. I know him and Jarvis were throwing them passes. I remember they did it against us, and when they beat us in 2019, I think it was Odell threw a deep ball to Jarvis, and it was broken up. And then I remember he threw one with the Rams in the playoffs, and it actually worked. So yeah.
Odell's got an arm on him. Not gonna lie.
It's kind of exciting to think about what we can do. The trick plays are going to be fun.
Yeah,
Zay
I mean, we're
Flowers
not even
reverse.
talking about Devin Duvernay, who's still just gonna be
Yeah.
right. He's gonna be
Our
really like,
gadget guy.
yeah, he's gonna be like so slept on. Like there's not gonna be really any attention at all or much being paid to one Devin Duvernay, but I think that's going to open him up. He showed flashes last season. I think he can actually be productive too. So we will see. We will see. Let me see.
Trey Anthony says under because they must be traumatized from their Prochet play last year. You know what's funny?
Gotta be, yeah.
Remember Prochet tapped the football before he threw?
Yeah.
And like, you know who also taps the football before they throw?
It's like most quarterbacks do that, right? Don't they?
I think, but I saw this one. It was Justin Fields, and I was watching. He threw it to DJ Moore, And like he did the exact same thing. And I was like, is like I'm gonna start analyzing quarterbacks when they throw. Like, do they actually tap it and then throw it? I didn't know
Yeah.
that. So that
Yeah, I
was
think
kind of
they
like,
tap it. I think they tap it before they throw it because you have to start from a specific spot to get like
yeah,
the right range of motion to throw a football. So like you can't just like be running and then just like wild throw. Like they tap it first to kind of get a reset and then they throw. So it's like one fluid motion.
maybe
Um,
just Prochet's was funny because like the confidence he had. He like
yeah,
he like he was at the beach playing like beach football.
with his boys, just launches it up like they're playing jackpot down there. It's
in
hilarious.
the triple coverage. I love you, James.
Yeah, yeah.
That wasn't your fault.
Wish
That was
nothing but the
Greg's.
best. Nothing but the best
That was
for James Prochet. Channel 3 forever. Or
yeah.
whatever channel it is now.
They set him up for failure with that one. Greg, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and switch gears here. Let's talk about the DBs. Let's talk about the
Okay.
DBs. So like I said earlier on the stream, there's not really any significant holes on this roster. But my guy Alex was telling me before we went live, I mean, only one or two things have to happen for us to be decimated at that position group again. So, Alex, go ahead and let the Rain Gang know what you were telling me earlier about the DB room.
Okay, so kind of our DB room now. We have Marlon Humphrey, Rock Yassin, Brandon Stevens, which, after what Harbaugh said, is he if he's cornerback, is he safety? We don't know. Caillou Blue Kelly, uh, Darrell Worley, Kevon Seymour, Trayvon Mullen. You take Marlon Humphrey away from there. All
Mm,
right. We're talking about 2021, back end of the season, Robert Jackson, you know, Kevon Seymour games, Burrow putting up 500 on us, putting up 40 points on us.
yeah.
I'm scared about. I'm worried about that. You know.
Yeah, I'm worried about where, I mean, you bring up a good point, like back half of the season. I'm worried, like, when the schedule drops, is it going to be kind of like last season, where like a lot of our divisional games, so naturally our more physical games, are going to be on the back half? Because I don't know if I don't prefer that. I remember last year we were saying we like a healthy mix, like give us like half in the first half of the season, half in the second half. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But yeah, you make a good point though. I mean, the DB room, we're one guy getting hurt away from kind of being depleted there.
Yeah.
So, Raven signing Rock Yasin. What was your thoughts on that?
Oh, I forgot Pepe Williams and Jalen Armour Davis. I'm sorry about that. Like I was just thinking about. I totally forgot about those guys. Even
Oh
then,
yeah, yeah,
that doesn't change my view on how I feel about it.
yeah. Right.
But I do like the Rocky Scene signing. My worry is that he has not played a full season healthy, which with this defensive back room, no matter who we have there, it feels like we can never get a full season out of them. I know it is a physical, tough position. Think about Jimmy Smith, he would always miss a couple of games. Peters would miss a couple of games. Marlon was honestly healthy every single year until that dreadful 2021 season where he went down, I think, with what did he hurt? I think it was around the shoulder
Torn
area.
pec, torn pec.
Okay. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
on the Deontay Johnson play. Uh, it's good depth. I think it's a good signing to have next to Marlon Humphrey, but I just like we need more. I feel like
I
we need
mean,
just.
and, and does that mean that we are not bringing back Marcus Peters, or what do you think about that?
So John Harbaugh said that you don't close the door on good players and good people, and we know if you're a John Harbaugh guy, there's always a spot for you on the roster. You know,
Mm,
so if I had to give this a percentage, I'm honestly going to go 50-50. I think the money's a factor. I think the opportunity is a factor. I think is Peters, how's his health after that ACL because he didn't look himself last year. We're not going to sit here and BS you guys. I don't think he looked the same. He was getting beat, but just what he brings to the defense, how smart he is,
yeah.
kind of like Justin Houston. I don't think we expected him to put up 7.5 sacks last year, but it's just
Nope.
knowledge he brings to the team and to the young guys, and it really is such a young position that we have with all these young guys. It wouldn't hurt to learn from him.
Yeah. Lisa says, "What's the deal with Marcus Peters? He was a motivator." Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, like you said, to your point, he's a smart guy. He's a really smart guy. Knows football like the back of his hand. And if you watch some of like the Wired Ravens Wired videos from past seasons when Marcus Peters was there, he was like, even when he wasn't playing, he was coaching up the DBs, letting them know what they should be looking out for, things like that, being an engaged teammate, even when he's not suiting up to play. So I think that Marcus Peters, the value that he brings on top of, the interceptions, which I think he only had like one last year or something like that. On top of the interceptions and things like that, his smarts is very valuable as well, is what I'm trying to say here. So I do hope that Harbaugh and EDC they can figure something out, and not necessarily Harbaugh, because I know he doesn't deal with the money. But EDC, I hopefully you can figure something out to where we can retain Marcus Peters for at least one more season, because I think that he's going to be crucial in the development of guys like Demarion Williams and Jalen Armour Davis and Caillou Blue Kelly and guys like that. So yeah, definitely want Marcus Peters back for sure. But I think it's like an $8 million difference between, what they're paying Rock Yassin and what Marcus Peters will be getting paid. So, that's cap space.
JD Killswitch, he says, I feel we need one more DB. I am right there with you. And then Forno Byron says, man, I wish we had a full season of Fuller. So do I.
Oh, yeah.
We were really robbed because, I remember the video, we didn't even go live. We did a video talking about how this secondary was no-fly zone when we signed Kyle Fuller, because how I know excited both of us were. The guy never missed a game in his career. He was solid with the Broncos, solid with the Bears. Didn't get burnt, was just solid corner. And then first game of the season, we know what happens. He actually had a strong preseason too, I remember. Looking pretty good out there.
Yep.
So, I wish we had a full season of him too. I don't know what he's looking like, but I doubt we signed him coming off of that season ender.
Right. Yeah. Let's see what else you guys are saying here. Trey Anthony says Marcus Peters and our DBs hasn't been helped much because of our poor pass rush the last couple of years. It's not a good point. And hopefully that's another thing. I mean, the pass rush, of course, those are going to help out your DBs as well. Hopefully we can have guys like David Ajabo step up. Hopefully we can have a guy like Odafe Oweh finally break through. You know what I mean? Finally break through and be what we drafted him to be, a first rounder. You know what I mean? So that's the only, I will say that's the only place that I feel like we are kind of really lacking is the pass rush. If we had like a game record, man, like we need somebody who can really turn the tides of a game. I'm talking like back-to-back busted plays, like one of those type of guys where you just can't stop them.
A Bosa brother, a Watt brother,
a Watt, exactly.
DeForest Buckner,
yeah,
Aaron Donald. I mean,
right.
I know it wouldn't happen. All right, I know it wouldn't happen, but just call up Les Need. Be like, bro, like, what realistically, what would you want for Aaron Donald? I'm not saying it would happen, but like, have you seen their roster? Have you seen the Rams?
Ooh,
It's
any help?
He's like the shiny star on just like in just like the dump. Like it's really, really bad. But I wouldn't happen. But yeah, I agree. We are lacking a guy who, when it's a 3rd and 5 and it's a passing down, or 3rd and 7, they go and get that sack and make it a 4th and long. And Baltimore Raven, hold up. Like K-Dog said, he says he pulled up from lot C at the bank.
Yeah.
I think he pulled up from Camden Yards.
Going
to the bank. Like he pulled up from the Ravens walk.
Oh my God. And that's a long walk too. Like that's pretty far from the stadium. So yeah, I mean, he's got some deep range right here. Balti Raven, man, dropping the 50 piece in the chat. Absolutely positively making it rain here in this episode 169 of the Purple Rain podcast. We appreciate you, Balti Raven, each and every time.
Pulled up from the tailgate.
From the Purple Rain parking lot itself. Oh my goodness, man. We appreciate you to know when you are a Purple Rain Pioneer stamp. We've already stamped that. We appreciate it, man. Yeah.
I'm just blown away.
Yeah. And he also says, smash that like button for my guys. See?
Thank you.
Man,
you.
We love this guy. Balti Raven, you are truly, you're goated. You're goated. Smash that like button for Balti Raven, guys. Smash that like button.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That threw me off. I'm not gonna lie. It threw me off a lot. Okay. So there was one more thing I wanted to talk about. It kind of just got on my mind right before we went live. The Ravens are signing their draft picks. They're signing 2 weeks, a week and a half right after the draft. And it feels like in prior years, it would kind of string out for 3 to 4 weeks. I think we've signed every single player except Zay Flowers, our first round pick, which I am applauding them for getting it done out the way. not letting it drag on. Hopefully they learn from the Lamar situation, not to let stuff drag on, because that's not the
Right.
best. But it's small stuff like that I don't want to go unnoticed, because it actually like relieves me as a fan to see that we're getting business done so quick and so swift with these
Yeah.
rookies.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely can agree there. I mean, the culture of the organization, speaks volumes, especially how in terms of how it translates to the field. Like if your front office is doing things the right way, then most of the time it's going to trickle down to like what happens on the field. So hopefully, with least amount of distractions as possible, with Lamar being signed, like you said, getting these draft picks, contracts out of the way, things like that, we can lock in. We can lock in, and by the time training camp rolls around, man, can you imagine the training camp videos we're going to be getting this season? Like with just Odell Beckham, Zay Flowers, and Lamar is going to be out there and happy to be out there. Like it's, oh my goodness, man.
3, 4, and 7. Like our our three receivers all are single digits. I used to pray for times like this.
Mm,
That is
mm.
3, 4, and 7, all single digits.
You know what's funny? I actually saw a comment earlier in here. I think it was from Lisa. She was saying she misses the days where uh, wide receivers wore like 80 through 90.
Oh, I can understand that. I'm used to seeing like in college. I remember like watching Odell at LSU wearing number 3,
Yeah,
like seeing like just the best, wearing one, wearing these numbers, like Tavon Austin at West Virginia, just wearing one and just being a human joystick, like so. And then
yeah.
actually speaking of numbers, we have a number 0.
Oh, Roquan. Yeah, Roquan.
Yes.
Changing his number to 0, man. Hopefully he has a really big season too. I mean, with all the money we're paying him, we're gonna need him to make some big plays this year. Some big
Yeah, you
plays.
get if you're getting paid 20 mil a year and you're the highest paid off ball linebacker in history, we're gonna need you to honestly all pro. Um,
Yeah, wreck
and
some
I'm hoping
games.
number 6 stays as well, for obvious reasons. But yeah, so that's kind of like the last hurdle is the whole Patrick Queen situation. If he stays, we sign another solid corner, and then Justin Houston, let's roll. Let's roll.
Yeah. I do want to go ahead and get into our Rain Gang questions segment. So if you have any
Okay.
questions for us, drop them down below in the live chat. If you're not watching this live, hello. Thank you for joining the hashtag replay gang. Leave your comments down below in the comment section because we do get to those as well. While you guys are getting your questions in there, let me see. I wanted to bring this up. Eye of Oris Taurus says EDC has a picture of Oweh on his office and said to Mike Florio that Oweh is one of his favorite players.
That's interesting.
It is.
First round pick. He showed a lot of promise in that playoff game, man. Like he was a different player in that one game. He looked nothing like his regular season self. So I'm hoping it clicked there. Hopefully him and Ajabo. I mean, I know they're working. He just I want him to have that double digit sack season. I really want him to be our X factor on that edge.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna sit here and predict that because I don't want to put these expectations on him. But I want him to ball out and show out.
Yeah. I mean, same here. I mean, we need that. We need that, right? I mean, because like we talked about 15 minutes ago, our DBs need help, and they need help from that pass rush. They shouldn't have to feel like the pressure is on them so much. And I feel like with Mike McDonald, we are developing a system to where we are getting home a little bit more with less of a pass rush, which is good. So I do have hope that guys like Oweh and Ajabo can definitely step up this year and make a difference. Okay. Let's go ahead and see some of the
Throw him in. Throw him in.
questions we get in here. Throw your questions down in the chat. K-Dog actually says, funny how many teams want PQ and our fans hate on him. Let's not forget he is family to the PRP family that he
Yeah, I've
is.
seen, fan base. I know the Texans fans, they want him. I've seen Eagle fans, want him on there. How I
Yeah,
even saw like a Raider and a Niner. I'm like, Niners don't even need him. Y'all got Greenlaw and Warner. Like, what are you guys trying to build over there? Uh,
yeah,
but Houston, I don't want to talk about him getting traded, but if it were to happen, I think Houston would be a great landing spot for him. I think him and DeMeco Ryans would do wonders. He has his former teammate Derek Stingley at defensive back. They're building something over there. They got Will Anderson, Jimmy Ward. I mean, he'd be
Yeah.
a solid piece over there, but I want him to stay in that purple and black forever. But it, like they always say, it's a business. But I want him to stay here.
Yeah, definitely want him to stay here. Like my guy K-Dog said, he is a family member of the show, so we appreciate, if the Ravens would keep him around. Okay.
And he's a great person overall, by the way. Very, very, very good people.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to ask you, Alex, have you been following NBA?
To be honest, not as much as I should be. I have been keeping up with the games. I think I watched the Knicks and Heat. I watched that blowout. I'm rooting for the Heat, I think, in that series. But I've been keeping up with it. But I saw your Sixers. I saw what they did.
Yeah.
I saw what they did.
Yeah, we got a good W yesterday, man. That James Harden, when I feel like he balls out when he wants to. It's just like when he feels like it, I mean, yesterday the game was getting close towards the end. I mean, Lil Baby's in the crowd wearing his jersey and everything like that. Like, Lil Baby and James Harden are real good friends, real good buddies. So I feel like he just goes off like whenever he feels like it. I guarantee you next game he's probably gonna have a terrible shooting night.
At the under.
Maybe like 8 assists, bet is under. That's what I'm saying. It sucks that he can't be as consistent as we would like him to be anymore. But it was definitely a lot of fun seeing him play on that level yesterday for sure. And it's a good series, man. It's 2-2 with the Celtics right now. I think we're going back to Boston now. It's going to get tougher from here. But yeah.
I'm never mad seeing Boston losing. Honestly. Never mad at that. So
yeah.
Sixers fan for this series.
Then you got Nikola Jokic over in Denver, who's getting he had a game on I think Friday night. He had 30 points, 17 rebounds, and 17 assists.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous what he's doing. Last night he had 53 points and 11 assists.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Push. I think the GM of the Suns or the owner or somebody.
The owner of the Suns.
Fine, $25K. I mean that. I think if it's not the playoffs, he's getting suspended the game. You shoving an owner.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's tough. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But it would hurt the NBA's bottom line if they took Jokic out for a game, and that would completely throw the series off. So
100%.
Yeah,
I mean,
they can't do
the
that.
Suns fought back. I mean, I thought they had to win these next two to stay in the series, and they did it. So Booker and KD stepping up, and then the Warriors and Lakers. I mean, that's a series in itself. I mean,
yeah,
they blew them out in Game 3. I wasn't expecting that. The game tonight will be 3-1. Or will be 2-2. So,
yeah. Rodney Smith said if that was Draymond, he'd be out the league. Well, Draymond, I mean, he's been doing stuff for so many years now. Like it's at the point now where if Draymond does anything, they're gonna be like, yeah, we're just gonna look at your priors and just go off of that. And we're just gonna suspend you, bro. So,
like Avontes Burfict was in the NFL. It would just, even if it's a personal foul, just his history, he'd be suspended.
Yeah. Right. It's like you can't give him the benefit of the doubt. But
Dre says Jimmy Butler is different in the playoffs. 1,000,000%. Love Jimmy Butler. Such a baller. Such a baller.
But how long will it last, though? That's the thing.
Tyler Herro is
Yeah, I mean, we see this, I feel like, all the time. Every year, damn near from the Heat. Jimmy Butler, he starts turning up in the playoffs, but it only takes him but so far because he really is the only one that can score. You see how many shots he's taking.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how far Jimmy Butler is going to take the Heat. It would be awesome if they went to the finals, but I just don't see it happening, man.
I think they get past the Knicks, and then who knows what happens. But
yeah, I don't see them beating either the Celtics or the Sixers. The Sixers because of their rim protection, and the Celtics just because they're a more put together team.
Yeah. So that's interesting to say the least. Yeah, Jimmy is him. Yeah.
He's definitely him.
I was gonna bring up. I forgot. The Ravens actually brought in a center, Sam Mustipher, for a tryout. And fun fact, I played peewee ball with him and his brother.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But the thing is Bears fans like claim he's like the second coming of Bin Laden. Like that's how bad he was for them. So if it's for a camp body, I don't hate it, but like he got cooked as a center. So let's just all pray Linderbaum stays healthy. Gotta leave
Yeah,
it at that.
for
Yeah.
for sure.
So
What
yeah, I
happened to
saw that
Tristan
happen.
Colon?
He went to the Jets.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
That's right.
and then the Giants are trying out Nigel Warrior. They're trying out Amon Marshall. These New York teams love our scraps. They love all our old players.
Yeah.
Like it is
Even our old coaches.
right. Our old GM Joe Douglas, our old front office. It is insane. Um, any questions? I'm trying to. I'm sorry, we just went off on a tangent right there. Any other
Yeah.
sports? Oh, UFC. UFC was this weekend.
Oh yeah, UFC was this weekend. We had Aljamain Sterling taking home the victory over Henry Cejudo. I watched that whole entire fight. I thought it was a good fight. But I made a YouTube short earlier today about the worst UFC champions currently in the organization, and I think Aljamain Sterling is up there, man, because he never actually beats anybody. He never really makes you look at him and like, God, I'm scared to fight that guy. Like nobody fears Aljamain Sterling, you know. So I don't know. I mean, you take in consideration how he got the belt. I mean, he got the belt off of a DQ. You know, barely beat the guy the second time around when they rematched. Some might even say he lost that fight. Um, you know, had the title defense against Henry Cejudo. I mean, hats off to him. He's a great fighter, but just not the best champion to me. So, but I thought it was a good fight. And then you had Gilbert Burns and Bilal Muhammad. Bilal Muhammad really showed off. I mean, he showed that he was the real deal. So it was a good night of fights.
Can I tell you what I thought was hilarious in that short?
What?
I love him, but you were 100% spot on. Israel Adesanya. I love
Yeah,
him, but every time I go on Twitter, Instagram, and there's some new damn edit of the same knockout I've
yeah.
seen
It's like,
1 million times
bro,
already. It is
come
nothing has
on.
changed. I was fine with
Yeah,
it like the first couple of weeks. I get it, but like I don't
like
know
you're
if
milking it, bro.
I don't know if it's him posting it. I don't know if it's his team posting it, but it is
It's him. It's
non-stop.
it's it's
Okay, I
100% him because just the way, like, based off of like the way he talks in interviews and whatnot, he's a very prideful guy. He's posting all those. Like somebody else, of course, is making the edits for him, and they're just sending it to him because they know he's gonna fucking post it. You know, like it's so easy. Like honestly, you could send him a highlight right now. You can make an edit. I'm telling you, Alex, you can make an edit right now, send it to him. He will post it by tomorrow morning. I
that same
promise you.
knockout. That same
Yeah,
knockout.
the same knockout, the same knockout, and it's like, bro, congratulations, you're 1-3 against this guy now. It's like, cool, I get it, and I love Izzy Adesanya, but he can be a little bit corny sometimes. I will say that he definitely be a little
Yeah,
corny sometimes.
I mean, like the speech he had after was very inspirational. I'd rather him post that than seeing the knockout all the time. But um, as
And the
for any other
speech was even a
sports,
little cringe. I'm not gonna lie.
I
The
liked it. I'm
speech is
not
a
gonna
little
lie.
cringe to me.
I liked the first half though. Like how he's like he hopes everybody feels that type of joy. I'm like, all right, I can get behind that. But he
It's
was.
like, how do you know what joy I felt in life? How do you know I'm not
That's
already
true.
happy? You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
Like you're making it seem like nobody has achieved happiness on the level that you've got right now because this guy knocked you out a couple times, and like you finally got your one win back. I mean, I get it, cool, be proud of yourself, but like I don't know, man, I don't know.
I'm just
Just
thinking
you're a
of. I'm
champion,
gonna
act
open
like it.
Instagram. I'm gonna open Instagram tomorrow, and on top of my feed is gonna be Style Bender. It's gonna be a knockout. I'm gonna see it.
Yeah, yeah,
Love him. But
love him, but hey, man,
and you've been watching any soccer recently or no?
I have not. What's going on with that?
So my team is in second place, behind Arsenal, behind City by a point. City have a game in hand. It's gonna come down to the final day. Like I'm not. I need this team, Manchester City, to drop points. They need to either draw or lose. Don't think it's gonna happen. Um, but it's around the league. I don't know. Like Messi's leaving PSG. Don't know if you've seen that. That's
Oh
big
no,
news. Yeah, he's leaving. He's probably gonna go to Saudi Arabia, and he's gonna get paid like $430 million a season.
Jesus Christ, they got a different type of money out there. That's that oil money.
It is, and oil money ruins football, ruins soccer. It ruins it. They can just
Mm.
spend all this money on these players, and there's no repercussions to it. So unfortunately, oil money ruins that. Um, but yeah, And then we have the
Yeah.
schedule release coming this week too. So
Oh, do we?
yeah, should be on
Oh, I
Thursday.
didn't know that. Nice, nice. Yeah. We'll go through the schedule on Thursday then. That'll be dope. Let's see. I want to answer this question. Godlike Creation says, "What's you guys' opinions on John Ross, the linebacker that got injured last year? He was pretty good. Homie was a tackling machine. I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah, Michigan. I think if we keep Queen as well, I think he will do his best to overtake Christian Welch for that fourth linebacker, maybe third, depending how they see Trenton Simpson. And I think we
Yeah.
definitely see him a couple of plays a game, but he would definitely be making his mark special teams wise. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Definitely. I agree there. He was very promising going into last season, but when did he get hurt again? It was preseason,
no, it was,
wasn't
I
it?
think the first or second game he got hurt.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I like the
Man.
jacket you're wearing, Godlike, by the way, with the old Raven bird on it. I like that.
Oh yeah, that is dope. I do like that. Okay. I think we're going to go ahead and leave it there. If you have any more questions, put them down below in the comment section. We will get back to you, you guys on that as well. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast, episode 169. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def, like you see down below. Find this guy over here on Twitter at SimplyAs10, Instagram at SimplyAs10.prod. I'm going to keep plugging this TikTok as well. SimplyAs10 there
I
as
haven't
well.
posted. I got to post on there.
Yeah, I got to post on there.
I gotta think
IG.
of something.
For the both of us, you can find us at the Purple Rain Podcast on Instagram if you want to get all updates on anything about this podcast and Ravens as well. With that being said,
yeah.
I'm gonna let my guy Alex take us out.
Byron, you're right. I forgot about Malik Harrison. You're right. So he has to really push to get some playing time. But thank you for coming through. Episode 169 of the Purple Rain Podcast. And as always, stay positive. Test negative. Big.
Yeah.
Still got test negative. One more thing.
Never, ever, ever forget to call God. It's been episode 169 of the Purple Rain